On May 20, 2013, a monstrous EF5 tornado tore through Moore, Oklahoma, leaving behind a trail of unimaginable destruction. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble in a matter of minutes, and the community was left to pick up the pieces after one of the most powerful storms in American history. In the years that followed, something remarkable happened. For 12 long years, the United States experienced an unprecedented silence. No tornadoes were officially rated EF5, the highest and most devastating category. This period became known as the EF5 Drought, a phenomenon that puzzled meteorologists and storm chasers alike. The drought sparked intense debate within the scientific community. Some wondered if tornadoes themselves had changed, becoming less intense or less likely to reach EF5 strength. Others questioned whether the enhanced Fujita rating system had become too restrictive, relying heavily on rare, complete structural failures to justify the highest rating. Then, on June 20, 2025, the silence was shattered. A violent tornado struck near Enderlin, North Dakota, catching the attention of meteorologists, emergency responders, and the public across the nation. The storm's ferocity was undeniable, and its path of destruction was eerily reminiscent of Moore's devastation years earlier. What followed was months of painstaking investigation. Teams from the National Weather Service and other agencies pored over damage reports, analyzed debris patterns, and reviewed eyewitness accounts. In October, after careful deliberation, the National Weather Service made it official. The Enderlin tornado was classified as an EF5. This wasn't just about flattened homes or shattered buildings. The Enderlin tornado represented a turning point in how we understand and evaluate the most extreme storms. For the first time, a new forensic approach to tornado analysis was used, combining advanced technology, engineering expertise, and detailed fieldwork to assess the true power of the storm. The Enderlin tornado broke the record for the longest gap between EF5 events in U.S. history, ending more than a decade of uncertainty and speculation. It also introduced a more robust, science-driven methodology for rating tornadoes, ensuring that future storms would be evaluated with greater accuracy and consistency. The return of the EF5 is a stark reminder that catastrophic weather can return at any time, no matter how long the calm may last. As our climate continues to change, and our understanding of severe weather evolves, it's clear that our science must keep advancing, because nature's silence is never permanent. To truly grasp the significance of the Enderlin tornado, we first need to understand what it means for a tornado to be classified as an EF5. This is not just a label, it's a rare and ominous distinction that marks the most extreme end of nature's fury. The Enhanced Fujita Scale, or EF scale, is the system meteorologists use to rate tornadoes based on the damage they inflict, rather than by directly measuring wind speeds, which is often impossible during such violent storms. Instead, experts analyze the aftermath, looking at what structures have been hit, how they were built, and the extent to which they've been destroyed. This forensic approach allows scientists to estimate the tornado's power with remarkable accuracy. The EF5 rating sits at the very top of this scale. It represents devastation so complete that even the most robust, well-constructed homes are obliterated, leaving little more than bare foundations and debris scattered for miles around. To earn an EF5 rating, a tornado must leave behind unmistakable evidence of catastrophic destruction, scenes where the landscape is forever altered, and nothing in its direct path remains untouched. Since the Enhanced Fujita Scale was introduced in 2007, only 9 tornadoes in the United States had been confirmed as EF5s before Enderlin. This rarity is due not only to the extreme atmospheric conditions required to produce such storms, but also to the strict criteria for damage assessment. The right combination of weather ingredients must come together, and the tornado must strike the right targets, places where its power can be measured by the destruction it leaves behind. If a tornado's path misses well-built structures or populated areas, its true strength may never be fully recognized, no matter how intense the winds actually were. In many cases, tornadoes that could have been rated EF5 go unrecognized simply because they pass over open fields or sparsely populated regions, leaving little evidence for scientists to analyze. This means that the true number of EF5 strength tornadoes may be higher than official records suggest, hidden by the luck of geography. The Enderlin tornado changed the game by providing a unique and undeniable damage indicator. A massive freight train, derailed and mangled by the storm's unimaginable force. This allowed engineers and meteorologists to perform precise calculations, using the weight and construction of the train cars to estimate the tornado's wind speeds with a level of certainty rarely possible. For the first time, the assessment moved beyond traditional indicators like homes and trees, offering a new benchmark for measuring tornado strength. The Enderlin event forced the scientific community to adopt a more forensic, evidence-based approach, pushing the boundaries of how we understand and classify these violent storms. By unlocking new ways to analyze tornado damage, the Enderlin tornado has helped reveal the true power of nature's most violent winds, no matter what lies in their path. In this way, Enderlin became a turning point, a moment that forever changed how we measure and understand the might of the world's most powerful tornadoes. June 20th, 2025, brought classic severe weather to the northern plains. Meteorologists watched as a powerful upper-level trough and a deep surface low combined, drawing moist, unstable air north from the Gulf of Mexico. Dew points soared, Cape values exceeded 5,000 J-Calcalm, and wind shear was exceptional, perfect conditions for violent supercells. A dry line triggered explosive thunderstorm development. One supercell rapidly intensified, showing a classic hook, echo, and debris ball on radar. Soon, a powerful tornado was on the ground, carving a path toward Enderlin. The stage was set for a historic event. The tornado touched down in the quiet open fields of rural Ransom County, North Dakota, on an otherwise ordinary afternoon. The sky darkened rapidly, and within moments, a menacing funnel began to descend from the swirling clouds above, signaling the start of a disaster that would be remembered for generations. What began as a slender, almost graceful funnel quickly transformed into a monstrous, multi-vortex wedge tornado. The storm intensified with astonishing speed, growing wider and more violent as it carved a path across the landscape, its power unmistakable even from miles away. Eyewitnesses described a deafening, freight train-like roar and a churning dark mass that seemed to swallow everything in its path. The tornado obliterated entire farmsteads, reducing homes and barns to splinters, uprooting century-old trees and snapping power poles like matchsticks. In its wake, only bare foundations and twisted wreckage remained, a stark reminder of nature's fury. When surveyors arrived, they were confronted with scenes of utter devastation. The level of destruction was immediately recognized as consistent with an EF4 tornado, one of the most powerful and destructive categories on the enhanced Fujita scale. But the tornado's true test of strength came as it barreled toward a BNSF freight train near the outskirts of Enderlin. The massive storm bore down on the train tracks, its swirling winds threatening even the heaviest of steel machines. In a matter of seconds, dozens of freight carriages were derailed and tossed aside like toys, some landing hundreds of feet from the tracks. This dramatic event became a pivotal moment for meteorologists and engineers studying the storm's immense power. After this incredible display of force, the tornado began to lose its strength. The once massive funnel started to narrow and weaken as it moved further across the fields, its energy finally waning. Eventually, the tornado lifted back into the clouds, leaving behind a stunned and battered landscape. The sky slowly began to clear, but the scars on the ground would remain for years to come. Its path of devastation stretched for 15 miles, cutting a long, unmistakable scar through the heart of North Dakota's farmland. The tornado forever altered the landscape and the lives of those who called this region home, leaving behind shattered buildings, broken trees, and memories of a day that changed everything. In the aftermath, chaos and disbelief reigned as residents emerged to survey the destruction. Families, neighbors, and emergency crews worked side by side, trying to make sense of the overwhelming loss and begin the long process of recovery. The impact of the Enderlin tornado would soon be felt far beyond North Dakota, as news of the disaster spread and communities across the region rallied to offer support and aid to those affected. Traditionally, tornado ratings relied on visual inspections of damaged homes, a subjective process, especially for the most violent storms. The Enderlin investigation marked a shift in forensic tornadology. Instead of just observing, experts applied physics and engineering to calculate the forces required for the observed destruction. The derailed freight train became the key evidence, Its known weight and structure allowed for precise wind speed calculations. This approach moved tornado analysis from guesswork to science. Any object with known engineering properties, train cars, silos, wind turbines, can now serve as a wind speed dosimeter. The Enderlin event set a new standard, promising more accurate tornado ratings in the future. Forensic engineering is now the blueprint for understanding tornado power. The forensic analysis of the derailed BNSF train was central to confirming the EF5 rating. Investigators focused on two events: fully loaded grain hoppers tipped over, and empty tanker cars lofted and thrown. Modeling the grain hoppers, engineers calculated that winds well over 200 mph were needed to tip them. The most dramatic evidence came from an empty tanker car, thrown nearly 475 feet. Aerodynamic modeling showed it would take winds of 260 km to lift and toss such a massive object. These findings, supported by radar data, provided undeniable proof of EF5 intensity. The Enderlin tornado became a triumph of forensic engineering. Science had finally caught up with the storm. Amid the scientific breakthrough, the human tragedy of Enderlin cannot be overlooked. The tornado claimed 3 lives and left many injured, despite timely warnings. Rural residents, often in vulnerable structures, faced the full force of the storm. Homes, farms, and livelihoods were destroyed in minutes, leaving deep scars on the community. Recovery would be long and difficult, both physically and emotionally. The event underscored the need for better public education, storm shelters, and resilient building codes. The story of Enderlin is both scientific and deeply human. By learning from this tragedy, we can work toward minimizing future losses. The legacy of those lost must be progress and greater safety. The Enderlin EF5 didn't just end a drought, it shattered the belief that we might never see another EF5. Many experts had argued the EF scale's strict criteria made new EF5 ratings nearly impossible as building standards improved. The Enderlin tornado proved the absence of EF5s was a methodological issue, not a meteorological one. The freight train became a new, scientifically defensible damage indicator. Now the debate has shifted. How many past tornadoes were truly EF5s, missed by old methods? Enderlin's forensic approach offers a path forward, promising more accurate and optimistic tornado science. The conversation has changed, and so has the future of tornado ratings. The Enderlin tornado will be remembered as a turning point in meteorology and wind engineering. Forensic analysis of the train derailment set a precedent. Tornado intensity can be quantified with scientific certainty, even without traditional damage indicators. This method could revolutionize future tornado surveys and even allow reanalysis of historical storms. More accurate data will drive better building codes, safer shelters, and smarter policies. The Enderlin event has reinvigorated tornado research, challenging old assumptions and opening new avenues. The EF5 drought is over, a new era of discovery has begun. The storm has passed, but the science and our quest for safety continues.